One thing I know for sure is you should never trust a fart and you should never waste a boner. My name's Boxx. I'm from Toronto, Ontario, and I'm on season 1 of Canada's Drag Race. I identify as cisgendered male, but I like to dress up in the drags. So when I'm in drag, I prefer she, her pronouns just because I think it's respectful. Oh my God, we're getting deep. I mean, it felt fine. Like it was lonely. I was definitely lonely. I didn't really feel like there was other people like me, especially within my friend group or people that were around me. But yeah, it was lonely. Oh, depressing. Okay, do you remember the Bowflex commercials when they would be like oil, like head to toe oiled, and it would be like slow motion of them just like pushing the weight, and then there would be like the girls doing it and then the guys doing it. I remember I was like, with the red shorts. Oh my God, yes, and they had red shorts. And I remember the details of each of their muscles. But I remember I used to go up to the TV, so gay. I used to go up to the TV and I would make an X on the girls and I would go like this on the guys. It was like it signed the deal for me. I was like, oh, this is what I prefer. I came out to my friends at Devonshire Mall in Windsor. We went to the food court and I let a couple of them know, just like a few of them, just in on my little cigarette. And then it was like that for about 2 weeks. And then I had let a friend of mine know at school. I was in grade 9. I let a friend of mine know. And then she was one of those girls that like, she had like a list in her locker of like all the boys she had a crush on. She's so stupid. And she told every single person in the school, especially the boys, because she wanted them to like her and think she was cool. So she went around telling the entire school that I was gay. And then it was like one of those things where when I walked into the school, like it was like everybody was looking at me and it was awful. And like it was like the worst day ever. And then like I was on the phone with one of my friends at night and I was like really upset. And then my mom overheard. So then she asked me in like the kitchen. She was just like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I gotta pee." And I was like, "Do you care?" And she was like, "No, I just gotta pee." So like that was nice that like my parents didn't care. But like, cause like I was so gay. But like the fact that I had such a hard time at school, like I'll never forget that Jen bitch for doing that. Like if I could punch her in her throat, I would. And I'm a 31-year-old who keeps a grudge. I used to go out a lot and see a lot of people who were in drag and they looked so fun and they looked so free. And I saw that they got free drinks and they got free entry into the bars and stuff. And I was a bit of a party girl back then. So like, I thought that was really cool. And I had really low self-confidence. I didn't really feel good about myself as a man. So then I was just like, what if I was just a girl? I think I would be a pretty girl. So then I decided to try out drag and I felt really pretty and I liked the attention and I liked all the free things. So then I just like stayed on the ride. The hardest parts about coming out, I think, were just like kind of figuring out that you're so different than everybody else. Like you're sort of coming to the realization that you're not like the other boys in the school, but it's just so public, like it's just so in everyone else's face that you're just immediately othered. So that was a kind of rough thing to sort of wrap my head around. So yeah. My parents were extremely supportive no matter what. Like my dad, the only thing he said was like, I love you. I don't care. And I was like, great. My mom only worried about me getting beat up. Like that's the only thing that she worried about. So they were super great with that front. They were worried about telling my brother because my brother was so like butch and macho, but my brother was just like, I've been telling him that he was gay since he was 4. Like I knew. So that was fine. But then when I came out as a drag queen, I didn't really come out to them just because social media was so like all over the place, and I was someone who was already like posting my face all over the place anyway. So they just sort of saw photos, and then like I remember one day they were like, "Are you doing this for like a job?" And I was like, "I make money," and they were like, "We love money. That's great." So, and then, but my dad did say one thing. My dad did say, he was just like, "You know what? The only thing I ask, just don't get any surgeries. I already paid for school and I can't afford to pay for that." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, I had like the typical sort of high school experience of someone who grew up within like in the like late 90s, 2000s, where it's like it wasn't like you were just the one gay kid, right? So I don't think that that was in any way surprising. I was just like, yeah, everybody fucking hates me. What's the big deal? I'm in Southwestern Ontario and I'm gay and nobody likes that. So I wouldn't say I was surprised by it. It sucked. But I think they were all things that I was fully expecting. For drag, no, because I've been I'm really lucky. It's bad. Like I've got such a supportive family. I've got such a supportive husband. My husband and I met in high school, so he was someone that I relied on a lot throughout high school if I ever felt a little bit different, because he was so like, I don't want to say he was like butch, but he was so like able to kind of pass through because he had a beard in like grade 8. So like he didn't get it as hard as I did, I would say, but he was someone I could lean on. And then even with drag, he's super supportive with my drag, and my parents are super supportive with drag. So like there was never anything that I had really bad or people look down on me. Like I didn't have to date. Like I've been with my husband since high school. So like I never had to go through those things that other people did. No, I've lived a really good life. I've lived a really happy life. So no, I wouldn't really change anything. I feel like I kind of won the lottery when it comes to what I've been handed. Like even with the shitty things that have happened in my life, like those shitty things led to really great things. So no, I wouldn't change it anything. I'm solid. I think if you're in a space where like everybody knows you're gay and they don't like it, that's not something that you can help, and that's not something that you can necessarily, you can change it and you can sort of sway them, but other people's opinions of you aren't what define you as a person. Your definition of yourself is what's going to define who you become. So just sort of ignore those people, ignore the opinions they put on you, ignore the threats, ignore those things, and just sort of keep living your life as true to yourself as possible, because that's going to be the best way for you to make it out of that situation. I don't know, be yourself. Don't be an asshole. Don't try to fit this persona of something that you see on TV, or this persona of what you think a drag queen is going to be, like this like bitchy rude character, because at the end of the day we are, you know, shade is fun and being a little catty toward each other is fun, but at the end of the day no one's going to want to work with an asshole, and no one's going to want to be around an asshole. Everybody when you're backstage is fun and lighthearted and sweet and supportive. So just be yourself and kind of think of yourself as entering a family rather than entering like a competition. Oh, wow, no. Ugh, heterosexuality, it's like a disease. Sorry to all the heterosexuals listening. I would say the thing that makes me the most proud is that we're so authentic to ourselves. Like we're so 100% true to who we are. We don't allow things like or at least we try not to, like toxic masculinity or like traditional gender roles sort of define how we're going to go about living our lives. Like we can just sort of do whatever we want and live however we want and talk however we want and do sort of whatever, as long as it doesn't directly lead to violence or injuring to somebody else. We're super accepting, and we just sort of like live our truths, just like live your life. I am 100% prone to nerves. Super, 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 super nervous all the time. I am like a tiny chihuahua constantly shaking.